Welcome back to another episode of Real Talk at the Round Table with your coaches, William Forcum, David Smith, and our special guest here today, Jason Perez. In this episode, we are going to be talking about the journey of the coach. The journey of the coach. Now, I don't mind being a spectacle, as long as it encourages an air of relatability for you. So the journey of the coach. I think it starts just on a really practical level. When the alarm goes off, we're in our beds, it's cozy, in our comfort zone, right? I know this morning it was extremely comfortable for me, and like the only thing that was exposed to the air was my face. And everything in me said, snooze that alarm, baby, and go back to sleep. But just to have that discipline and the willpower, just kidding, to throw off the blankets. Okay, Jason got it. Thank you, Jason. Um, and just to, embrace the next moment. I think that's where it starts with me. What do you guys think?
I'd have to agree because it's going to be a little bit different for everybody. But when you are, in this case, coaching, and you have put yourself in a position to really do what you're meant to do, like this is your calling, things just feel different. If you want it to be like, I'm just going to stay in bed a little bit because it feels good and I can adjust things, perfect. Me, sometimes the alarm goes off and I'm just like, this is what I have in my itinerary for today, and I am so looking forward to it. It was not that long ago where I'm just like, alarm goes off, snooze, goes off again, snooze. Gotta get up right now because I gotta go to my job and sit at my desk and work whatever corporate America elects to give me so I could get my paycheck and then walk away from the end of the day. I haven't felt that way in a long time.
Mhm.
And I, for one, don't miss it.
Right. Yeah, and I'm with you because, matter of fact, it was funny because this morning I woke up ahead of my alarm and I had an extremely busy day. And I had 30 minutes between calls and I am like really tired. So I go to take a nap. I don't take naps for those that know me. My alarm goes off in 25 minutes so I have time to get up and get ready for the call. Nope. This guy didn't get up. And then the phone rings. My client is calling me. It's like, shoot, how come my alarm didn't go off? It did. Everybody else heard it. I didn't.
Wow.
That's why I don't take naps. So I definitely feel for you.
That is a rough way to start out the morning, Dave. I think we've all started out some mornings like that, and it's never good. It's like once you get on, like start the day on the wrong foot, it's so hard to course correct and change the momentum of the entire day, I
Hmm.
think. Um, Man, I'm sorry you started your day out that way.
Oh, that wasn't the
Uh,
start. That was like the middle. Because
oh,
I
I think
went
you
to
said
take a
it
nap.
was just the start.
It was
Oh,
after I took
okay.
a nap. You know.
Gotcha. So that's like midday, like
Yeah.
around lunch.
Actually, it was one. Let's see. I think it was 1 o'clock. And it was in between. No, it was about 1 o'clock because I just got finished with the. We had a workshop that we were doing,
Mhm.
and we had a marketing workshop. Just got finished with that. Great call. And I had a client that I had to meet with. And just before the client, I'm like, well, I got 30 minutes. I'm fighting, fall asleep. I'll just take a nap. Everybody talks about taking naps. I might as well take a nap. Nope.
Bad idea. Yeah. Okay.
So,
Got it. I was just chugging down a Zip Fizz earlier today. For all of you guys who don't know, that is caffeine and vitamins. So I was feeling tired. Still a little tired. Getting back. Just talking about course correcting. We are course correcting, and we're talking about the journey of a coach. So that spontaneity, I think that's a factor here. I want to talk about that for a second. Like as a person, as a human being that was and still is, but was only doing the corporate America thing for 9 years straight. Boom, 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 boom. The spontaneity when it came to the compartment that was in my mind concerning work was missing. There was no spontaneity at all. And it's largely because corporate America doesn't want you to have that. They want you to show up, do exactly what they tell you to do, exactly the way they tell you to do it, when they tell you to do it, and that's work. Um, but whenever I had a conversation with a coach, everything started to change, and it's like, whoa, okay, so you're telling me I can have spontaneity at work? Like, yeah, it's like not only can you were created to like you were created to create and see what's underneath that rock and see what's over this horizon. Like when you're not doing that, there's something that just dies inside of you. You lose a part of your humanity, I think. At least I was. That's where I was. And still a part of corporate America, but as a coach as well, I see a reconnect even at my job with corporate America
Hmm.
with yeah, right? Yeah, dude. Yes, with
Work, as you're doing your job, and you may have a quarterly check-in, at the very least an annual review, and it's just okay, so all the work that I have done is going to be boiled down into a 15-minute conversation, uh, basically stating, do I get a raise or not? If I was fortunate, it would lead me to a direction of just like, hey, we recognize some of your strengths. Would you be interested in spearheading this piece, this campaign, you know, project, offline work, whatever words they threw at me? And I'd get excited because I'm just like, yeah, this is something new. This is gonna, break up the whole drudgery of the regular day. It lasts good for a while. After a certain point, it was like, okay, I've just put on more work. This is more of what I'm doing. I may be doing something different, but now it's part of a bigger routine that I went through. And then you just feel like, I'm back at square one. There's no spontaneity. There's no option for creativity. And sometimes you may come up with an idea midstream and be like, "You- we'll get back to you.
mhm.
All right, when? Eh, When you're trying to think a big picture and you're going in to be like, I think this is going to benefit the company. This may benefit the department. This may just benefit the coworkers in regards to policy changes and what have you. The bigger the company, my experience, the slower the change.
hmm
Mm.
It's just the way it is because all sides have to agree on this. And if there is one no, it gets the kibosh. And
hmm
that person is often left defeated. Like, and then you wonder why a company may be like, oh, we were experiencing a high amount of turnover. in this industry, you may not last long. You're just going to milk the experience for what have you for your next step in your career. And we recognize it may not be with us. When did that become okay?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Why is it acceptable in a corporate environment, but if someone dares to dream in being an entrepreneur, running their own business, you're happy for that person, but at the same time, it's like, good luck. It's a dog eat dog world. At least I've got my benefits and paycheck, and if I'm lucky, a pension. And somehow that spirit has been trampled upon.
Right, because now they're like competition. It's like, okay, you're in this, you're your own entity now.
Hmm.
So it's like, how can we bridge the gap? Say, no, I'm not only competition. I can also be an ally too. I can come in, we can lead workshops, we can get to the heart of your employees and help you produce and create more. Because when we reach the heart of your employees, we are reaching the heart, the depths of your wallet. Like it's gonna grow. You're gonna grow because you've got motivated people, you've got motivated vision, your why is strong, you're showing up, and they're not just showing up for a paycheck, are they, Jason and David?
Mm-mm.
They're showing up because they feel listened to, heard, and understood. And I think that that's what us coaches specialize in, is really breaking through and getting that why, getting that vision, setting those goals and moving. Um, but yeah, going back to your point there, spontaneity and then entrepreneurs as a whole. I mean, we get crapped upon, don't we, a lot of the time? But then when the rewards come, it's like, okay, all right, this is why I'm here, this is why I'm doing this.
And the other thing, when someone does try to pursue, their spirit to be like, I'm going to, work on this business or I'm going to have a side hustle. Most companies don't blink an eye until it starts interfering with the work.
Hmm.
And I get it. It's business. If you're employed by someone, this is your dedicated time. But often they'd be, here's how it is the moment you get hired on. By definition, we own you. So if you're going to discuss this opportunity that you've been pursuing, this is your 5 to 9. Uh, as long as it doesn't interfere with us, we're just going to turn a blind eye. But if it is something that is just natural conversation and you're bringing up in your day to day, or heaven help, now it's like, oh, wait a minute, this is being viewed as competition because you're working a very similar product. It never flies. And then people start having to make decision of, do I pursue my dream or do I pursue a paycheck?
Come on. Wow. And in every, let's say almost, we'll just get it. In almost every single time, we'll say every time the dream is fully pursued, that's the way we'll say that.
Hmm.
There's so much more money in pursuing the dream. And it's because we're not pursuing it for the money.
And that's the key you just said right there. Because when your passion is there, when your drive is there, you're going to be so much better. You're going to want to do more. Like your 9 to 5 job, you go in there, you do your job, you leave. Your boss wants to talk to you, as long as I'm on the clock, that's fine. But when you're passionate about something, you don't care about the clock. Oh, you want to talk to me? Hey, let's talk. Let's get this done. Because your passion is there, your drive is different. You see the long picture. Yes, I'm going to have to do some work now, and I'm not going to get paid for it. But in the end, the reward is sweet, you know, and that is the blessing. When we can count and see the future, our passion and everything. Look at farmers. They put a lot of time and effort in their fields that they hope will produce a harvest.
Yeah.
Now, 99.99% of the time, the work they put in will reap depending on what they put in. You sprinkle a couple seeds out, and you're going to get nothing because the birds are going to eat it up. Right? But if you put the work in, you're going to reap a harvest.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got so many work man hours into my coaching practice, as I know each of you do, right? We all do. And I would be scared to see, I don't have a number, but I would be scared to see that number and then like work it out to see how much I make an hour. I know that it's not what I would like it to be.
Well, and it's key that you said that. That's very true. It's not right now. But then in time, you're going to be making millions, and you're not going to be doing the work that's going to pay for that. But that's paid for your time in the past.
Right. Come on.
You know, so if you take your whole career, you're going to make well more than you'll ever do any job. But if you look instantly, you'll never make enough money. And if you concentrate on that, you'll never make here because you're looking at, well, I'm not making enough money. And you're going to be doing other
Wow.
things. You're going to be sidetracked, so you're not going to be concentrating on your passion. But when money's not an issue, there is so much I do for free because I'm sowing seeds into people's lives because I'm going to
Yeah.
be taken care of. So
Right.
when your passion is there, you will do and it'll come as well. Because what you do today, you will receive a harvest depending on what you do. You know?
Yeah.
So you're absolutely correct, Will. That's why we don't look at that.
Right.
But we will look at it later on. Hey, I'm
Yeah.
making $1 million a month. I could never make that much money any other place.
And
You know?
believe in the work that I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in
So,
the process of believing the work that you're doing, you as the individual pursuing this are believing in yourself.
yes.
Yes. Come on.
Now, speaking of that, we are talking about the journey. And I know, Jason, you left the corporate world. I was forced out. um, you know, I was working a very good company, making very good wage plus overtime. I mean, I was doing very well, and I was doing part-time coaching, and very well, very successful in the job. I ended up in the hospital.
Mm.
Came out in a wheelchair. They can't let me go for medical reasons. Lack of work is why they let me go. They laid me off. So I could still collect unemployment.
Mhm.
But what's unemployment going to do? My expenses were here. Unemployment's going to be like here. Because of how much I was making, unemployment would never do anywhere close. So what's that do for me? So what do? Do I cry and pout? Nope. Time to go full time. But I've got one more paycheck. So I need to make money now. Now, as a coach, you know if you're desperate for money, hey, William, I really need you to pay me. Can I coach you so you can pay me? You know, you're going to be like, I don't want somebody clingy to me. Get away from me.
Right.
You know, so even when you're in need, it's like a dog. They sense fear. You can't show it.
Yeah.
You know? So you have to focus in on your passion. My passion is to serve you. Don't worry about the
Right.
money. Because the
Yeah.
money is stressful. If I have to worry
Yeah.
about the money, where am I going to come up with this money? I won't come up with the money. But if I focus on my passion, that money will come.
Yeah.
You know, and when I look back at it, it's like, how did I ever make it through? But I made it through. And now I'm doing very well. You know, but the
Yeah.
key is, how did I make it through? because I focus on my passion, not the money. That way, when I was talking to Will, he didn't see my need. He seen my passion. He's like, you know what? You can help me. I'll pay you.
Mhm.
What's your coaching service fee? I can pay that, no problem. Because he didn't see the need, he seen the passion.
Mhm.
And I know you have a similar story, Jason.
A lot of it was very, very similar to yours. I've been at my job. I was crossing a decade mark, and in the interim, behind the scenes, I'm kind of looking at my own finances. I mean, you're talking to someone who, when he first heard the word budget, it might as have been, well, a four-letter swear word. I don't want to deal with it. But I know in talking to my wife and kind of sharing some dreams that she's had and wants us to have, I kind of came to the quick realization I love my wife more than my own insecurities.
Hmm.
So let's
Mm.
do this crazy thing and come up with a plan. And oh God, the first one was a disaster. But you keep at it. A wise person once told me if your intention is clear, the mechanism will appear on its own.
Hmm.
Wow. Say that again, bro.
If your intention is clear, the mechanism will appear.
Come on. Wow, that's
Hmm.
powerful.
And I think that carries weight, especially in this world, because right now we live in a society where we're just trying to like stay afloat. What's the next paycheck? What can I do this? It's almost to the point of what can I do to not rock the boat
Hmm.
because I got bills to pay. I got families to care for. I've got mouths to feed. So as a result, I'm just going to stay in my box and not move forward, not move back. But this is the little piece I've carved out in life, and I'm just going to sit here and defend it.
Hmm.
That was me for the longest time
Hmm.
while I'm taking the income, working on what I had spent on, a lot of foolish spending. Uh, but in the end, it's just like slowly chipping away at that. That's what we do as financial coaches. And I was also investing a little myself in some personal development programs where it's just like, okay, I got to work on the person that's in me that's trying to get out. I got the money piece down. Awesome. But I got to make sure that, from a mental standpoint, I'm good because I know when I had money in my younger days and I wasn't mentally ready, oh, I was spending it like nobody's business.
Hmm.
I don't need to repeat that in life.
Hmm.
But going back to my individual journey, where I'm finding myself teaching people in regards to here's an approach to reduce spending. Here's an approach that will get you some degree of financial flexibility so that you can do what you want. Uh, my wife lovingly was just like, so when are you going to be a coach and be official? I said those same words to her maybe a year prior.
Mm.
And now she's just like, okay, I've done it. I've seen you interact with some of the people when I'm not available and you have to pinch hit. Just make it official, please. So I did that. And in going to a coaching event, I got the Zoom call 3 days prior. And the company is just like, we've had to make some tough decisions. You may have an idea of what's going on, and we respect you. We appreciate the work that you've done, but we no longer lead your service.
Uh,
Hmm.
So that little piece of proverbial land that I was trying to build on for nearly a decade, and one call
Go.
got taken away from me.
Hmm. Yep.
at that point, I kind of just said, okay, well, I'm going to the event. Some coworkers that knew what was going on. At first, they're like, "What are you doing right now?" I'm like, "Well, one, I'm trying to see if I can get a margarita or something here. I've been through a lot. Sorry." But then they said, "You're still going to this event?" I'm like, "It's paid for. What am I gonna do? Spend this time at home, sitting, depressed?" And I've done that before. This was my fourth, if not fifth, layoff in my working career.
Yeah.
I, I'm I'm gonna try something different versus having a pity party until I just get sick of it, and then either tapping into unemployment or applying to the next available job that will take me just to try to get back this little piece of life that I feel I can handle. I
Yeah.
listened to things differently. No one was coming back to say, like, this occurred while you were away. I'm like, I don't got that.
Yeah.
And things just resonated differently.
Hmm.
And because of the work that me and my wife had put in, she said, you know, if you went full time, we, we we got it from a financial standpoint. Just go coach. The intention was clear. Now I move forward and slowly I'm kind of seeing the mechanism, working with people and just giving an ear and listening to their story and be like, okay, I hear you. And no, I'm not in an environment that is just like, oh, I got to solve this in 10 minutes or less because time is money.
It's right. Right. And just listening, I would say just listening to people, it may like feel like we're just listening because that's what we do. Like it's normal to us. But actually listening to people, hearing them, understanding, asking clarifying questions to hear and understand even more thoroughly, that could be the first time they have felt understood in a long time. That's something so special and so sacred. And I feel like that's what really sets us apart as coaches. And that's a muscle, isn't it? Wow, I remember back, in the day as it was about 2.5 years ago, and I first like signed up to be a coach and having like, strategy call after strategy call, consultation after consultation, just listening, getting filled up, and I just had so much of like it felt like useless junk floating around in my head, all these people's stuff, and like talking to God about it, praying to God. I'm like, why do I have what? Like, I don't know if this is going to be possible, and like having that hard talk. Like, how do people do this? Like,
Well,
I don't want to remember. Go ahead.
you said a key point there, and we are at the halfway mark. So, just to make mention, we do have a sponsor, and it is a VPN program. VPN is needed to protect yourself. So, in the description below, check out the VPN sponsor. It is the number one VPN out there, and we're going to give you 30 days for free. This isn't a trial, it's free. Now we're going to open it up to the YouTube. So anybody that's in YouTube, you can post in the chat, and we will bring it up live here on the air, and we will answer your questions. So continue, Will.
Yeah, appreciate that, David. Everybody needs a VPN, that's for sure. And
Hmm.
looking forward to having some questions. Yeah, so yeah, it's like I don't want to know Sally's thing with salad dressings. Like I don't want to know that, especially if she didn't sign up. Like why is this keep coming? Why can't I just forget about it? And I remember very distinctly, it's like this is a muscle that you have to work out, Will. If you want to be a coach, this is a muscle that you've got to get stronger.
Hmm.
your capacity to listen and to care. And it was highlighted how selfish, how little of a capacity that I had currently. And I remember listening to another coach being super humble on a group coaching call, talking about the same thing. And in her humility, it exposed that in me. I'm like, she's talking about me right now. And that's the power of those group coaching calls. Um, and then I remember, I remember like being led, like, God's like, hey, it's your turn. You gotta go. You gotta talk about, what you're going through. And it's like, do I have to? It's like, yeah, you have to. How much power, speaking from a place of humility, brokenness, just honesty, when it feels like you don't want to, but you do it anyway, how much power is that? How can God work in and through that in your own coaching practices?
A lot of faith can come into play. It's not a requirement, but when chips get down and people are feeling the struggle, oh, does faith help? I kind of take coaching from this perspective. This is the life I've been given. My story is my own, nobody else's. I lived a lot of years on this earth, and God willing, I'll live a lot more. But as I'm coaching, I'm just reminded of one of the things that I've been gifted in my own hardships and what I grew up with, what it was like being on my own for the first time, what was it like when I met my wife, and you're kind of going through that precipice of, I don't know what this is the one, this is not the one. I know what it's like having been at work and truly feeling like I, I'm stuck. I think I read an article recently. They kind of call it now quiet cracking. And I'm over here like, of course, now they name it. But there are people out there where it's just like, I don't want to make waves. I don't know if I can stay here, but looking at the prospects outside, I have no choice but to stay here. I get it. I lived it. And when people see my genuine self and realize in our consultation, this is a safe space, let your hair down. It's like, oh, you really gonna listen to me? Like, yeah. Then it's just like, I'm connecting with you.
Hmm.
There's this preface which is like, if I could turn back time, I'd live life differently. I can't say that.
Hmm.
Dude, there was like a waiting. I was at this place. I was at a place to do some blood work, and there's this waiting period, it's like square 10 chairs or so, and they're filled. We were all filled, and I was sitting there and I was engaging with somebody there also to get some blood work, and we were talking about our histories and just really connecting. And I just had this moment. God's like tapping me on the shoulder, looking around. Everybody else is like on their phone. And it dawned on me that we live in a connectionless world. I know this is not like the first time we're hearing this, but in that moment, I had that specific revelation. We're just terrified. I don't know. I guess it's fear. It's like, I don't want to talk to it. Why? Real connection is terrifying, I guess, to a lot of people. But you know what's even more terrifying? To not have it,
Hmm.
to not have it, to not have it. Um, I just wanted to plug that in. Keep going.
No, it's worth bringing up because conversations can be uncomfortable. That's part of the human connection.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But now live in a world where it's just like, um, Yeah, that sounds sweet. Where's the like button? I'm going to move on.
Yeah.
Back as a kid, we were lucky to get a gold star from a teacher. I don't even have that. I can't hold a like button. But to feel a degree removed from your fellow man,
Hmm.
it it gets lonely.
Yeah.
And that's when all of a sudden, the doubt creeps in, and people talk about inner saboteurs. We're living in fear. I shouldn't be doing this. This is nuts. This is crazy. And at this point, I'm here to be like, it's crazy not to.
Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah.
People will happily purchase something that they may not necessarily afford and come up with payments. And their argument is, oh, YOLO. Okay, so if we are going with this adage of you only live once, why is it that that's not applied to the bigger things in life where you step out of your comfort box?
Well,
Come on.
we only live once,
Wow.
so I want to get this thing. They use the we only live once, but they use it the wrong way. I got to have this thing. Instead of
Absolutely.
looking at their passion, well, we only live once, I might as well fulfill my passion. We can have all the stuff in the world. And matter of fact, you guys can relate to this. A lot of times you get something, and what happens? A couple days later, why did I spend that much money on that?
Yeah.
It's not as valuable as what we thought it was. But your passion is more valuable than what we thought. Because as we dive into our passion, we realize, whoa, it's bigger than I thought.
Yeah.
And it just draws us in closer.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So even though we try to make excuses, we try to validate what we're doing, well, hey, I only live once, I might as well enjoy life. I want to enjoy it now instead of when I retire. Because how can I enjoy life when I retire? Instead of
Mhm.
trying to validate, you know, your bad mistakes, live in your passion and enjoy life. It's true you only live once. Enjoy it.
Yeah. Amen. I've got a super practical thing that's I've heard from another coach that's really helped me, and I just want to throw another plug in there. Maybe it'll help you guys. Viewing when those impulse, buys start to just like maybe it's effective marketing or an idea or a friend just bought something and they're just like gung ho. There's a good word. Not sure that's a word. Anyway, about the product. And I'm like, one thumb click away. Here I am, and I'm just like, just about, I'll add it to a list, whether it's a wish list on Amazon or if it's no, in my notebook on my iPhone, I'll add it to a list and I'll give myself a minimum time requirement, 3 months. And if I still want it, I still see the value after 3 months and the need is still there or the want is still there, I'll make the purchase. And there's some really good things that go along with that. A lot of the times the price is lower. How about that? A lot of the times I don't want it or I don't need it. I'm like, that was dumb. Thank God for this, 3 month rule thing. And it adds the discipline as well. It's like it adds the sacrifice, it adds the maturity, it adds the, like the adultiness. I don't know. Maybe you
Hmm.
guys have got some more words, but what's your experience been like concerning something like that?
I kind of went in an approach of I don't necessarily mull it over in 3 months.
Yeah.
I'll sleep on it.
Oh.
If it's not the first thing I think of when I wake up,
Hmm.
it's probably not meant to be.
You know.
And talk about railing against the whole concept of instant gratification,
Hmm.
where it's just like I'm not asking someone to be like, well, let's see if it's lower in price down the road, or can I find a coupon? Just
Hmm.
sleep on it. You're gonna wake up refreshed if nothing else.
Yeah.
But if you're really thinking like first thing I wake up, I'm not thinking about you know being grateful for just waking up. I'm not thinking
Mm.
about the family and loved ones. I happen to be thinking about this particular item that's on sale. Okay, then you kind of just say to yourself, well, all right, it's I'm still thinking about it. How am I going to get at it? Preferably without just, you know, one click shopping or swiping a card or not even that. You could do it on your phone these days. Just make it sensible. If it's really meant to be, it'll be there waiting for you. And you can kind of plan for it, incorporate it in your lifestyle and what have you.
Now, see, you guys are both, I envy you. 3 months? How can you wait 3 months? A day? How can you wait a day? So, the way I do it is if it's more than $100, I have to wait 3 days.
Hmm, I can see that.
Okay.
And I go with a minimalist mindset, though. And I'm not a minimalist. I can't even say it. I am not those type of people, but I go with that mindset. I try not to have stuff because stuff gets stolen, it gets destroyed, it gets less. So if I need it, yes, I'm going to get it. I mean, Will knows for like this podcast and for different things, I have a lot of electrical things.
Yep.
I didn't have a problem buying things for things that's needed. But if
Hmm.
I don't need it, all it's going to do is go to waste. Why have it?
Yeah.
Wait 3 days, you know?
Right. Yeah.
I could see that.
Hmm. Yeah. And another thing, another like pro that goes along with that, I think, in all three of these processes is, it allows more room for shopping around,
Hmm.
shopping around. I mean, we live in a world filled with different options, so we might as well shop around, put the legwork in. Maybe there's a better product that, does something similar, but more useful to our application that we need. And we wouldn't know if we're just impulse buying that moment rather than waiting.
Like you want to be intentional with your purchase.
Almost like,
Like it, and that's up to the individual. If I'm going to shop around, yeah, I could probably find it, less expensive online, or maybe come across a sale and be like, hey, I'm putting in this voucher code and what have you. But for me, sometimes it's a matter of, am I going to shop at a big company, corporate sized, where I'm customer 456 7 8 9, or do I want to support a smaller business that happens to have it, and maybe it's a little bit more because they are not in a position to be like big advertisement and what I want to support the little guy at
Hmm.
times.
Yep.
mhm,
But those are my choices as an individual.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be different when it comes to that.
Yep. And it's your
Having the
heart.
flex Yeah, and having the flexibility to do that,
Hmm.
that's gold.
Yeah. Yep.
Versus I have to get this at the lowest price I can find because, well, I've got bills to pay.
mhm,
Well, it's also key what you said when you have the flexibility. That's why we want to get into that place because um, we're not having to stay in our box because we need the money. If something's happening, we can say, hey, you know what? I'm good. Yeah, where are you going to get your money? I'm good for a little bit, and I'll find another source. You know,
mhm.
there's a song back in the day, Take This Job and Shove It. Most
No,
people love that
no.
song. They love it, but they can't even dare to say it. But when you actually
Mhm.
have, then when the opportunity is right, you can actually say it. You can look up at your
Yeah.
boss and say, you know what? I don't need this job. Take this job and shove it. I ain't
Mhm.
working here no more.
Hmm.
Because you are not stressing. It's key about that. Now, I was just working with a client. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that one. I'm going to do another one. I was working with somebody else, and they wanted to get something in particular. So we took the baseline, a very popular company in this, and it's where everybody usually goes for this type of an item. And we take what their price says, what their discounted price is for however many we want to get. And then we search trying to find one cheaper. And instantly we were able to find it cheaper. It's like, okay, so we found this. Now find it cheaper. Now find it cheaper. Because there is no mom and pop shops in that field.
Mm.
But when there's a local shop of what you're looking for, I cater to love those individuals. Because I'm a little guy. And on the same scale you sow, you will reap. What you put out, you will receive. So if I'm supporting Will, Jason is going to support me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some people say, well, if I support Will, he has to support me, right? On the same scale you sow, you will reap. You know, what I put out, I'll get. Well, yes, but no. 99.99% of the time, it will not come from the same source you're putting in. It'll come from elsewhere. Even a farmer,
Mhm.
he plants in the field, he puts a small seed in, and a huge plant comes out, comes forth.
Yeah.
You know? So, yes, I'm giving to Will. 99.99% of the time, Will's not the one that's going to give to me. Jason is going to give to me. And I never
Mhm.
have to say nothing to Jason. And he doesn't even know anything about me. But
Yeah.
he just has that passion to help me out.
Yeah.
Because I had the passion to help Will out.
Right. I think that that is so huge that you bring up, man. And I can attest to that 1000%. As I know Jason can as well.
Mm.
You know, there's something special about the process, and something that like recently found, and it's just like a continuing revelation of the same, is I'll get in my way whenever God's like, okay, this is harvest time. Like I'll get in my way. I'll say, no, I'm not worth this. And I'll reject good things. I'll reject the gift that our daddy's trying to give us, right? I'll say, no, and I'll do a lot of times from fear, um, from these repetitive habits that I've built up over the course of my life. But yeah, there's something so special about showing up and showing out and trying hard as we can to serve the person in front of us, no matter what we're doing, whether it's coaching, our relationships, like our inner sphere of relationships, somebody, a stranger, like out and about, like because here's what it does to the person. It's like, okay, like say it's a stranger at a gas station, and we're just like stepping in, just trying to serve them. I mean, like we see they're flustered, their glasses are off, they're trying to find their glasses on, and we step in, we pick up their glasses, we clean them off, we give them to them. Something small. It's like if this person is this insightful and this caring about somebody that doesn't even know,
Mm.
right? Like how much more, right? And it gets the person's mind going. But then, like we have, you know, the big guy, right? And everything flows from him, and he sees everything, and he knows. And so then he's like, okay, because you did this, right? Now the natural order and the natural process is going to follow, just like you were saying, David. And everything's connected. It's everything is just nothing is segregated. It's all woven together. And it's like, do I understand that fully? No. But do I know it intimately enough to show up and show out
Mm-hmm.
and try my hardest? I just, what I don't get is when people say, I just can't sleep at night. It's like, the second my head is the pillow, I'm out, dude. I, because like, I feel like we all are, right? Is it because we're super serving? And that takes a lot of energy to be present. Yeah.
Hmm.
And if you're really good at it, that type of energy that you're putting out there, you care for your fellow man in whatever small fashion. You made that person's day, that now he's inspired and finds the energy to help another person.
Yep.
If we did a lot more of that, I don't think the world would be as crazy as it is right now.
Right.
Come on.
That's a big key that you said, because, and you hear all the time in practices, if you just help one, and they help one, and they help one, and they help one, the whole world would be touched just from one. If you touch two, and they touch one, that's two going out to touch two more, going to each one of those touching two more. That's remarkable. It's a compound multiplication
Mm-hmm.
that is just awesome. It blows our mind. Now we don't want them to, like, I do a good thing to Jason, and Jason goes and tells William. We don't want that. Matter of fact, some wise people actually did that. They helped somebody out and says, don't tell anybody, and they do. Why don't we want that? Because I helped Jason out. I did whatever. He's going to tell how he's seen it, which may be different, to William. And William's going to tell Steve a different way. By the time it gets back to me, I actually took Jason's arm and I twisted it, and that's how he got fixed. So that's why we don't want people to tell the story, because it's going to destroy the story. The story is, I helped Jason. That's it. Now, Jason helped some real story that went on. Every time, it's a real story that moves on. It's not a passed on story that gets changed a little bit each time.
It reminds me of that game, a telephone that we played in kindergarten. We'd all line up along the hallway, and it was 5, 6 years old, and who knows what we're gonna say. And it starts. The blue kitty cat ran sideways across the yard, and then it ends. The polka dotted dog wouldn't stop growing or something. It's just like, how did we get here? But we did. We got here.
Yep.
And turns out we're just a bunch of grown kindergartners. There we go.
Well, and they say the average mind, the average reading mind is usually at about a 5th grade level.
Wow, really?
Yeah. That's why, if you notice, they put a lot of major publications at a 5th or a 6th grade level. It's the very few select that actually can read better. Especially in today's society, we've gotten dumber. Because there's too much of this. There's too much listening to things. Why don't you grab a book and read?
I think that's why people don't care how much we know until they see how much we care. And going back to that connection piece of it, because we could be using words that they just don't know.
Yep.
And then what's happening? It's like, okay, well, the connection piece is gone because they don't know what we're saying.
Exactly.
Or worse, I'm going to pick a little bit back on the corporate environment. You're using big words, stuff that's found in like SAT exams, or where it's just like, through this dynamic process of corporate flow, we're going to utilize brain. I've already lost. Just, this isn't a game of Scrabble. Just tell me what you want.
Yep. And we do that with the doctors. We go see a doctor and they're like, blah, 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 blah. English?
Yeah.
Can you tone it down for me? Now, speaking of which, we like to let you guys know about 3 things. Now, coming up in this next month, everything is going to be changing. We're doing a lot of great things. Okay, so first of all, we have a free community out there for all coaches for a lot of categories. We had a separate community just for coaches. We're actually making a huger community, and it'll be very precise to cater to just you. But we're trying to keep it open for a lot of people. You're actually going to be able to do networking in there. So it's going to be very powerful. And the description is in the link. The link is in the description below. So make sure you check that out. Now, we also have a lot of really cool things. So we have group coaching. Everybody needs a coach. All the successful people have a coach. All the celebrities, famous people, they have many coaches. I have two coaches I currently pay for. Both of these gentlemen probably have at least one because we just know the value of being pushed. Well, sometimes you may say, well, coaching is out of my reach. We also do group coaching to make it a little bit more reasonable for you to bring it into your level. So you do want to get plugged in. We do have those for you. The links are in the description below. Now, one of the greatest things we also want to let you know is we're going to have opportunities. We're going to start putting, we have sponsors and different things like that. We're going to start putting ads in, and there's ways that you can do it for free. We're going to be putting out there where you can actually get free advertising. Inside the community, there's going to be little things that you can do and pop-up things. We're going to have special events, and you just show up, and you could get one of these free ads. So make sure you check into that because it's going to be powerful. It's going to take you to the next level. And Jason, I know I want to hear a little bit about you.
Well, a lot of my coaching, I kind of share my story at teamperezcoaching.com. Care to dive a little bit deeper, and a lot of things that I kind of specialize is looking beyond numbers. I, I can help someone with a spending plan. Still have a problem with budget. Spending plan sounds better. We can make things work where it is. I've got my goals and I've got momentum and what have you. Along the way, I'm curious about the person because I have been through times where it's just like we're just throwing a band-aid on it and moving on. What's going on with the person outside of things? That's who I want to get to know. And sometimes it's listening and just sitting with them and kind of recognizing that, life may stink, but you as a human being are far better than you realize. So as a result, we may have to talk about some uncomfortable things because right now, that injured inner child is making the grown up decisions.
Ooh.
That needs to be addressed because otherwise, it's going to be a completely bumpy ride.
Yeah.
And, part of my background, si necesitas en español, yo puedo charlar contigo y hay veces no sabe la palabra, yo sé, yo soy un gringo aquí, pero yo puedo ayudar con todas las cosas en los periódicos, en los libros, solamente es inglés. I can speak that language.
Yep. And that is powerful. And if you want to know more about him, his link is in the description below. So make sure you check him out. Now, it was definitely an honor having you here, and we look forward to the next time you're here. Will, did you have any final words?
Absolutely. Yeah, very special thanks to you, Jason. You took this very, very short notice. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It was a pleasure having you on. Pleasure to meet you in person there at Enrichment. And looking forward to having you on for a part two sometime next year.
I would love it.
And did you have any final words, Jason?
Be good to each other. There's way too much stuff when you turn on the TV, and that's probably what's keeping people up at night. Just be good to your fellow man. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
That's right. And I love that. So, everybody, will see you the same time, same bat channel next week. Thank you.